That's my cue. Um, Welcome to another speaker series program sponsored by Woods and Wetlands Group of the Illinois Sierra Club. My name is Linda Tilton and I will be your host this evening. Our program meetings feature speakers on topics relating to our environment, stewardship, wildlife and nature, public policy, and anything about outdoor activities like hiking and canoeing, bird watching. In a minute, we will hear from our featured speaker, Sharon Cornelius-Iles. But first, we have a couple of very brief announcements. As Doug said, we are recording this, so if you can watch it later, if you want to watch it again. If you don't wish to be on the picture, click the little camera in the bottom left corner of your screen. It'll put a slash through the camera and you won't be visible. We will send out next week sometime. I will send out an email and it will have an address so that you can go to the YouTube channel. And if there's anything you want to watch again, or if you are missing this, you can then click on it and see that. Before we begin, please make sure you are muted, especially if you have a barking dog, television, or other commotion in the background. Please feel free to ask any questions of our speaker this evening using the chat room at the bottom of your screen. When she finishes the program, we will select questions and then they will be directed to our speaker. We find it works better if we sort of put all the questions together and we can make sure we're not asking double questions. Now let's move on to our March program. Sharon Cornelius-Iles has lived in the northern Chicago area her entire life. And I don't believe I said Chicago.
Chicago.
Chicago. In the northern Chicago area her entire life. She and her husband of 40 years have turned their backyard into a haven for wildlife with many bird houses and feeders, native plants to attract butterflies and bees. They love to take walks with their two rescue Cairn Terriers in the forest preserve. Sharon works for one of the major solar power companies in the US, and so she comes to us with great knowledge and current knowledge, especially. We welcome you, Sharon. You have the controls.
It's so nice to meet you all, and thank you so much for inviting me with the Sierra Club this evening. I am thrilled to help present to you our residential solar in Illinois basics program. And I'm looking forward to answering all of your questions at the end of our presentation. So as we begin this evening, again, I'm Sharon Iles. I was born and raised in the Chicago area. I am a licensed and bonded solar designer, sales and service advisor. I do work all through the Cook County, Lake, McHenry. Basically, I cover everything all the way down to about Oak Park, but I do have a couple of customers as far as Sauk Village, as far north as the Illinois border, and as far west as Rockford. I have more than 200 solar systems installed right now. And so let's just get started. So I wanted to just show you that this is not a solar system in my entry that is mine, but this is part of my company. They provided this screen for me. So this is solar energy for Illinois, our introduction, and any questions about that. If I'm going too fast, please let me know, Linda. So our solar energy is a sustainable, cost-effective power source that reduces fossil fuel reliance and lowers your energy cost. Now, I know there's people already here in our demographic that already have solar systems, and some of you are just here to understand what it is and what it does. So the growth since the subsidies that opened in Illinois since 2018 have made solar so much more accessible and affordable in Illinois. So the scale by solar expansion here in the state by 2023, there was 2.21 megawatts of solar. So what that means is there was enough power to supply 338,000 plus homes in Illinois. That's huge. Our goal is to get to 500,000 by the end of 2025. I know that's a really big goal, but that's what we're hoping for. The transition to the next slide is, with rapid growth in solar that's shaping our future, we do want to explore all of the benefits. So we'll move on to the next one. So this is actually an installation of mine that I'm using as an example. This is one of my neighbors in Skokie, Illinois. So solar is a clean, renewable energy source. Of course, we're pulling that from the sun, and that lowers emissions, which is huge, and energy costs. The cost savings for homeowners and businesses. So I only work in residential, but there are representatives out there that do residential as well and non-for-profit. So if you have a business or a non-for-profit, I can recommend somebody who can install for you, but I am not licensed to do that. So the solar lowers your electricity bills by ensuring that with solar energy, because the cost per kilowatt is typically 35 to 45% lower. Now, that's not on everybody's solar system, but it's based on how much energy you're consuming as opposed to what you're buying from the grid, if that makes sense to you. Solar growth in Illinois has changed quite a bit. So because of state incentives, we are the only state in the Midwest that does support solar with a state incentive. And they have accelerated in solar adoption that is really helping Illinois transition to the clean energy sector. It's an impressive capacity. So Illinois is emerging as a solar leader, especially in the Midwest, because we do have that solar initiative. So we do want to expand as much as possible. We are the most aggressive state besides the Eastern Seaboard accepting solar. So what are solar panels? Most people have seen them on houses around their neighborhoods, but may or may not understand what actually they are and what they do. So I ended up the cute little saying that she binded me with science. So, of course, a photovoltaic cell is the science term for solar panels. So solar panels, literally their only job in the whole wide world is to capture sunlight and convert it into electricity. The photovoltaic cell generates direct current energy and converts that into AC by an inverter. And an inverter system inverts that energy from the direct current energy DC into alternating current AC. And typically, I'll show you in the next slide, it looks like a converter box that's put on the side of your home. And conductive plates transfer that energy through wires that are inside of conduit to power the home or the building. So we talked about solar panels. Solar panels are the devices that convert that sunlight into energy, and they absorb the sunlight to generate that direct current energy. And that's converted into usable alternating current. That's me. Okay, so how do the solar panels work? The solar panels perform best when they're in direct sunlight, and they are opposed from trees or buildings, reducing their efficiencies. So solar panels generate that electricity when sunlight excites the electrons in the silicon inside the panels themselves. The electricity flows while the sunlight reaches those panels. And solar panels actually absorb heat, helping to melt snow faster in the wintertime. You can see that by the example here. And this is a build in my neighborhood, actually on the border of Skokie and Lincolnwood. Additionally, their smooth, dark surface helps to absorb that sunlight efficiently, even in cold conditions, accelerating that melting process. So in this particular photograph, that is a full south-facing system. So they work by turning that sunlight into electricity by using particles called photons. So when the sunlight does hit those panels, it gives electricity it gives energy to the electrons in the silicon material, making them move. This movement does create an electric current. As long as that sunlight is hitting the panels, the electricity keeps flowing through the system. And then this is another example of a solar system in my neighborhood that you can see on the one side, it's 100% south facing. So all of those panels have been burned off. This was about 11 o'clock in the afternoon. I was walking my dogs. And then the backside where you can see the windows is west facing, where it's continuing to burn off. So we're getting into the key factors that affect energy production on a solar system. So there's 4 key points to this. So there's shade, seasonality, the tilt of your home's roofs, and azimuth. So that's where we're placed in the world. So of course, shade with solar panels are of course perform best when they're in the direct sunlight. Shading from trees or buildings obviously reduces their efficiency, and the optimal placement ensures maximum sunlight exposure. So let's just go over this really briefly. Of course, shade would reduce any performance on the system itself. Seasonality means because of how much sunlight we're getting from spring until fall, that is your optimum time to create energy for your home. Seasonality meaning November, December, January, and February, we're farthest away from the sun. So we have reduced time in the sunshine, usually about 8 to 10 hours. But as we move closer to the vernal equinox in June 21st, that's the longest day of the year, we can have anywhere from 15 to 16 hours of sunshine. So there's overproduction there. Tilt is the tilt or angle of the roofs on your home. That angle or pitch of your solar panels follows your roof planes. And most homes are between about 20 and 45 degrees. So that helps 2 things. It helps the sun absorb on the solar panels themselves and encourages water and snow to melt off of them as well. The azimuth, the solar panels are optimum placement in the southern facing in the northern hemisphere. So that means if you had a full south facing roof, that is absolutely the best place to put a solar system. But not everybody has a house that's back roof or front roof or even side roof is 100% south facing. So optimally, a combination of solar arrays on north, south, east, and west can do just as well as a full south facing. So why are the rates rising in Illinois? What is happening? So a lot of these sources are coming from the Citizens Utility Board because Commonwealth Edison does report to them about what's coming up. So CUB and the awareness of electricity rates in 2025. So back in November of 2024 and before that, CUB has reported that the majority of reserve power comes from our fossil fuels. About 48% gas, 18% coal, and only 1% wind and solar. Now, I've read a couple of other articles that say it's 6%, some say it's 8%, but we know it's a really small amount, and we need to do a much better job. Capacity costs have gone up about 20% with ComEd's supply price. And just in the last year, it's jumped from $2.2 billion to $14.7 billion in 1 year. And there's also a new rate increase that is coming June 1st, if you didn't read about it on the Citizens Utility Board. I am going to be sharing a lot of links at the very end about CUB and other resources that I use continually to keep myself up to date about these sources. So one of these great resources that I always use and help customers understand what they're paying for is the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. This of Commonwealth Edison's. Ameren is another pull-up pricing if you have friends out east or out west. They pay as high as 45 to 47 cents already in San Diego County, which is crazy. I have friends who live in Los Angeles who consistently pay 30 to 35 cents, and then friends out east who are already in the high 20s and low 30s because they are on staggered time rates. So morning, noon, and night, they pay different rates. So ComEd does have increased awareness about what's happening. They've reported that, of course, to the Citizens Utility Board. So this is part of awareness that we all are expecting, even solar customers, because if they're taking some energy from the grid, whatever's being pulled from the grid will increase by about 30%. So ComEd estimated that the actual total cost of capacity increased to be about 2.35 cents per kilowatt. So what that means for you and me is everybody can see on their Commonwealth Edison bill on page 2 what a base rate is. This is where it's going. It's going on the base rate. And Commonwealth Edison then adds fees and taxes to all of our bills, including a fee connection and a customer service charge. So there's about 6 to 7 charges for fees from ComEd, and some people pay a municipality tax and some people don't, but there's always a state tax as well. So there's typically 2 taxes and about 6 fees. So we're going to move on. So what is net energy? This is really important because when you have a solar system, the net energy is how you benefit the most, because that's extra energy that you didn't use from your solar system that's helping you to earn money or credits, okay? So the benefits of net energy credits. So the benefit of net energy credits does help you as a solar customer by reducing your bills by offsetting those energy costs. And it does encourage the homeowners to adopt solar power because it reduces their bill and it helps balance the supply and demand for renewable energy. Those solar credits will, remember when we used to have rollover minutes on our phones, those credits work the same way. They roll over from 1 month to the next. So what's changed in Illinois since last year? This is really important. So the changes to the net metering program for new solar customers in Illinois has changed. If you had a solar system that was installed in 2024 and was turned on and approved by Commonwealth Edison and the state of Illinois, you received 1 credit for 1 unit of energy for all of your bill. So what happened now is the changes to the net metering credits as of January 1st of 2025, only 40% of your bill will be given a credit. Okay, so that means literally the supply portion of your bill, because your bill is consistent three parts: supply, really important portion of what's moving forward in Illinois and why we recommend using supply energy like a battery system to house all that extra energy so it doesn't get wasted. So net energy credit is a credit that solar system owners receive when they send that extra energy back to the grid. That's energy that you didn't use. So what is net metering again? So net metering allows a solar system owner to send extra energy back to the grid in exchange for credits on the utility bill. This is an example in this photo of what a solar system looks like once it's been attached to your meter with a solar inverter and an emergency disconnect system. So ComEd projects that the rate increases are going to be about, 1.5 to 2.35 cents per kilowatt moving forward. We talked about that. So net energy credits will help lower those electric bills and encourage solar adoption. And the Illinois program, like the adjustable block program, enhance those net metering benefits. This helps with the net metering credits. It means that homeowners will receive a lower compensation for their excess energy. I'm sorry, forgive me. Because of the reduction of the 40% of its original value, this homeowners will receive lower compensation. That's the difference from what happened in 2024 to what happened in 2025. So the reason why we talk about battery storage now is because of what changed in the net metering for 2025. So the benefits of having a battery on your system helps provide not only power during outages, but it reduces your reliance on the grid at night and during the cloudy days portions of the 12-year calendar. So November, December, January, and February. It also increases your energy independence and it helps maximize the benefits of net metering by storing that excess energy that Commonwealth Edison will not pay for in the net metering program for 2025 and moving forward. So this is what battery placement looks like on a home install. These are 4 separate installations that I have done here in the Illinois area. They all look a little different. You can see there's a double battery system that was for a very large home with 2 air conditioning systems. And the rest of them are just different placements for a home on different areas. So you can see brick, it can be installed on brick, it can be installed on cinder block, and or it can be installed on siding. It's not the material that's so much, but they do have to bolt that because those batteries weigh about 265 pounds. So they do have to be bolted into a wall. So what's so important about battery storage is solar panels produce energy only when the sun is shining, of course, and that battery storage allows the homeowners to store that extra energy for later use. They provide that backup power during the outages, reduces the reliance on the grid, and increases that energy independence, helping to maximize the net metering benefits. So the benefits of battery storage are especially because of the new changes to net metering in Illinois that happened on January 1st because of the 40% decrease in payment. By storing that extra energy, the homeowners can ensure that they are maximizing the value of the solar investment, reducing the reliance on the grid, and protecting themselves from those fluctuating prices that are happening with ComEd. Typically, Commonwealth Edison, if we look at back to the example that I showed, typically Commonwealth Edison is changing pricing by an increase of about 5.5 to 6% per year, notwithstanding the 30% rate surges that have happened 2 years ago and again coming this June. So battery storage really will be helping homeowners to use the stored energy. And when solar production is low, during nighttime and cloudy days, ensuring that they do have a steady and reliable power source moving forward. So these two examples show what happens during the day and at night. The example shows that once you have a solar system, not only does the home receive energy, but the battery is receiving energy at the same time until the battery is full. Once the battery is full, it can be used at nighttime, or it can be used actually during the day or during a time of outages. But in the future, too, it can be displaced as well to buy extra power or sell extra power to the grid. Virtual power plants are coming. They haven't been established yet in Illinois, but they are going to be coming, we've been told. So battery technology benefits are very important. The batteries that we install right now are two different types, and they will back up an entire home of up to 32 circuits for up to 24 hours, including heavy loads like an HVAC system, washers and dryers, a dryer that is an electric dryer, and water pumps. We have systems that are being backed up with well systems and septic tanks as well. Multiple batteries are needed for 2 or more HVAC systems because you need at least 1 battery per HVAC system and at least 2 batteries to fully power an electric vehicle. So by storing the excess energy, homeowners can ensure that they're maximizing the value of their solar investment to reduce the reliance on the grid. And the battery storage does allow the homeowners to use that stored energy for any type of heavy load, even in their home, like an HVAC system, even during an outage or at night. So there, it is a really powerful thing to add to a system right now. So this layout shows a typical home layout in Chicago or in the suburbs, not so much Chicago, but mostly in the suburbs, of what the capacity could be for battery storage with the inversion system. So this does provide backup power during outages, reduces that reliance on the grid again, as we talked about, and that in energy independence. So this is showing you that this could actually power, the air conditioner and or a pool pump, EV chargers, and they are directly connected to the main service panel and backup loads. So why does Illinois need more homes to convert to solar? This is really, really important because as we see more and more tariffs with metal coming, this has a lot of us concerned because, as you can see, there's a lot of metal parts in what we do. So we're really concerned about that. Illinois is pushing for greater solar adoption to meet our clean energy goals. The Climate and Equitable Jobs Act, of course, CEJA, aims to make the state 100% renewable by 2025. I know that that's going to take some great strides. I may or may not be around at that time. I'm going to be a very old lady, but I would love to see that actually happen. Financial incentives are here in Illinois. Up to 25% of a solar system can be subsidized by the state of Illinois with the state and with the state tax credits. The federal tax credits with the Inflation Reduction Act is still 30%. That was signed into law with the last administration. Lower energy costs. The solar does reduce electricity bills over time, typically 35 to 45%. I have a customer who's saving almost 55% on his bill. So that's wonderful. With the adoption of doing solar and hourly pricing with Commonwealth Edison, it can be significantly less expensive because rates are 1 to 6 cents when prices are not surging. Especially if you have an electric vehicle, pricing overnight can be in the negative numbers. Of course, the environmental benefits are huge. The reduce on the carbon emissions and the reliance on fossil fuels. Illinois still has 4 nuclear plants. Job creation. We need to create a lot more jobs here in Illinois, of course, and solar expansion leads to more green energy jobs in Illinois. The company that I work for is adding 6 new teams to our installation group this summer, and we're super excited about it. So switching to solar energy does offer huge financial benefits for homeowners. There's several different programs that offer solar for no upfront costs. So with strong incentives and net metering with battery storage, there really has never been a better time to go solar. So this is me. And if you want to know more, I'd be very happy to chat with you personally about Solar 202, 203, get in the minutia, help you figure out your bill, see if solar is a good fit for you. I do personal evaluations, and I am available upon request. I'm available Monday through Saturday. I typically try not to work Sunday. I needed one day off. I will do a full bill review with you from your utility to give you a comparison based on what your home looks like. Home readiness evaluation. I take a look at what your roof looks like, trees around your home, etc. Any full engineering evaluations are provided by licensed and bonded vendors only. So if you are looking at solar, make sure that you know that they are licensed and bonded. Make sure that they are licensed and bonded under the Illinois Power Association. They need to be listed as a vendor. 2, electrical and main service panel and sub panels. I need to look at that, and then a licensed and bonded electrician needs to look at that. Main structure or detached structure. What I mean by detached structure is if we're putting solar on a garage. I have never seen anything in Illinois get attached to gazebos or anything like that. I know there's a lot of stuff on the internet that shows things put on gazebos and carports. I've never seen anything like that. But if it is a permanent structure, and it can be evaluated to see if it will be suitable for that. We look at roofing condition and age, shading and azimuth, and grounding for hard surface. And I always say that with applicability. So that is my email address and my phone number if you do want a personal evaluation. And again, thank you so much. I hope I was clear and concise, and I'm open for any questions that you might have.
Okay.
Thank you.
The first question is, excuse me, are there any safety concerns with these batteries?
So there can be some safety concerns depending on where they're placed. So we always do a full electric and engineering evaluation because the engineers will give the homeowner the best placement for their home. I can't directly speak to that without an evaluation.
Okay. Another,
But if they would like specification sheets on the batteries, I'd be very happy to send those to the homeowner. Um, the the companies that we use may not be the company that they might be quoting. So I would always say if you are getting a quote from a vendor, make sure that they give you the specification sheets and what the warranties are. The 2 companies that we use, the batteries are fully warranted. One of them is a full warranty from the manufacturer for 15 years. The other one that we use is 10 years, and then the company that I work for extends it out for an additional 5.
okay.
And solar panels themselves are typically warranted from the manufacturer for 25 years.
All right. Another question is, the installation photos show most of the batteries outside, the pictures you just showed. However, this person, GB, says, I understand the batteries lose capacity with lower temperatures. What's your experience with lower temperatures for externally installed batteries?
I can't hear you anymore, Steve, but
Oh,
that's okay.
okay.
I got the gist of the question, and that's a great question. So there's been a lot of changes in battery technology just in the last year. So I went back to the slide with the battery placement. So if you look to the battery, the two batteries that I have on the far right side or left side, depends on how it's flipped. I can't see my own presentation, but there's a double battery installation on this slide. So that is a Powerwall 2. The new Powerwall 3s actually have a heating system installed inside the battery, which allows for outside installation of these batteries to keep them at a consistent temperature. And again, I'd be very happy to share those sheets with you about, size, placement, and what the capacities are of these batteries.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
So engineering, typically, if there is no room in a home, we'll recommend putting it outside. So these battery placements, these three pictures, are all outside for a reason. There was no room inside the home, and because of the battery already has its own heating element. The one to the far left, the double Tesla system, does not have a heating system in it, and it was installed in a garage.
All right. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. The other question is, how can you tell how much electricity you're getting from the sun versus electricity from ComEd or your electric provider?
And so that comes with a solar consultation. So what I typically do with my clients is I sit down with them. I do a walk around of their home first to evaluate where solar can be placed on their home first. And then I do a full evaluation of their bill to add up how many kilowatt hours they have consumed in the last 12 months. We also have to take into consideration how many people live in that home. Are they adding extra loads to the home? Extra loads meaning, are they going to add an electric vehicle in the next 5, 10 months, 2 years, 5 years? How long are they planning on staying in that home? Also, any extra things that they might be planning on, adding extra loads like, are you adding a workbench? Are you adding a solar? I mean, not a solar, I mean, a sauna, can't talk, a pool. So that full evaluation comes with an electric bill evaluation and a home evaluation, which can take about an hour.
Okay.
If a customer would like to send me a bill and we can work virtually, I can literally put that together in 1 hour.
Okay.
But
Another
as you
question.
know, I like to do that in person so I can actually see the home, get my eyes on the electrical panel, get my eyes on their meter and other items in the home.
Okay. Another question is, do you recommend a smart panel load? Let me see if I get this right. A smart panel load center installed with a solar system and a battery
Yes and
system.
no.
The answer is no. Okay.
Yes and no. So
Oh,
I,
all
I
right.
so my company does install those. They're wonderful. If that is something that you want to do, they can be wonderful because you can actually control what circuits are on and off. It is a marvelous thing. I'm really starting to get better at understanding the technology because we have just started introducing it in the last 6 months. Um, so I can't speak to it 100%. I'm learning quite a bit, but from the technology I've seen on it, it's amazing. So if somebody's really techie and they do need a new main service panel when they're installing their solar, it'd be something to look at. Absolutely.
Okay.
Because
Well,
from the information that I've read, you can save quite a bit of money by being able to transfer loads.
Okay. And that is all the questions I have. Linda, I'm going to turn it over to you. Unless someone else has a question, type it up real quick.
Well, I guess that is the end of our questions. And we want to thank you for spending your Sunday evening with us. Um, and
I'm always happy to, because as
well,
I said
for
before, I
this
really enjoy being a part of this. And
this
I hope I was clear and concise.
this program will be, it is being taped, and we will send it out next week. But there has been another question pop up. If the current federal administration, White House, Steve, it's vanished from my screen. Do you see it?
I saw part of it.
Grant, are you on? Can you speak? Tell us what you're asking us, Grant.
I think I know what they're asking, but please say it out loud.
Yes, good evening.
Hi,
Can you hear me?
I can, thank you.
Yeah, so what I typed here is it's certainly looking likely, depending on what compromises come out of Congress and the current irrational administration, that by September, when the current budget was extended to, that the 30% tax credit may be eliminated or significantly reduced. So the question is, how does that affect the financial viability of a solar installation?
That's a great question, because we've been trying to figure that out as well. So I can't really speak to something that's still speculative, but the 25% solar reduction from the state of Illinois is still sound. The Inflation Reduction Act that was passed by the previous administration was 30%. So, had that administration not signed that piece of legislation, by this year, it was only going to be 23%. So, how that impacts solar customers is two things. If you wish to purchase your own solar system, that means you're going to write a check or finance it. That is a reduction in how much money you get back from the federal government on your taxes when you go to file for that reduction. So typically, how that works is, let's say I hypothetically put your solar system together. I design it for you. It's installed by the company that I work for. Great, it's up and working. Next year, January through April 15th, you go to file for that benefit. It could be reduced. They haven't said how much it's going to be reduced, but it may not be 30%. So that is going to reduce the amount of money that you're going to get back on your taxes. Make sense?
Thank you.
Okay, I hope I was clear and concise. I guess we're going to find out a lot more about that and what it's actually going to change to, but it could, I hate to speculate on any of it because I haven't heard any chatter about what it's changing to. But for right now, it's 30%.
Thank you, and thank you, Sharon. We're delighted to have you, and as a reminder to everyone, we'll be sending a link to this program, and also I will include Sharon's contact information, so you can reach out to her across the magic electrical lines of the internet and get in touch with her.
Absolutely, because I'm looking forward to sharing. I have spec sheets on batteries and links to all of my sources to help you get any other information that you might need about making a good choice about solar.
Well,
Purchasing solar, just as a closing statement, purchasing solar is an exceedingly expensive undertaking. There are programs out there, and not only from my company, but other companies that are out there where there is, you can get a solar system with no upfront costs. So just do your due diligence and look into both, because financing right now, as we both know, is really expensive.
And I think we all need to think about getting off carbon. That's just why we made the jump. We have to abandon it. The science doesn't lie. At any rate, we thank you, Sharon, and
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to speaking with anybody who wants to know more.
she's a talker. Yes, she is.
Oh,
She's friendly. I wanted to say that we are now looking forward to another speaker series coming up on April 27th, Sunday, April 27th. I am delighted to announce that Mike Wurst, who is the head of special collections and archivist, as well as professor of history and geological and environmental studies at the University of the Pacific. He will be our host, and Mike will join us to talk about John Muir, who is the father, one of the fathers of the Sierra Club, as well as our very best idea that we've had, the national parks. Mike will use John Muir's personal journals, letters, drawings, and manuscripts to illustrate Muir's masterful skill and foresight in the work he did. He's a person that I have always wanted to have come. I've wanted to have somebody come to talk about John Muir. I don't know what you know about him, but he was born in Scotland, and the family moved to Wisconsin, where he grew up. And as a young lad, he was a farmer. He migrated across the country and became probably what some people would call a ne'er-do-well, because he was just out there in nature, enjoying the beauty and the wonders. This program, I could hardly not tell you what the program is called. John Muir, Saunterer, Scientist, Savior. So I am very excited and looking forward to that. And I want to finally ask you to register for that Zoom program at our Woods and Wetlands website. That'll be coming up in about a month. And finally, thank you all for joining us this evening. And again, thank you to Sharon for her information and very clear explanations of the magical mysteries of solar energy to be used in our homes. We'll be sending you that email later. And thank you all. Good night. I think we beat the storms.
I think we did.